Thank you, and thanks for inviting me here. I know we're all feel very fortunate and privileged to have Mr. Nichols for being here in Manitoba. It's not often that we have a chance to have a program manager from as important a visa office as Manila visit us, and for him to take the time here to deliver what's been, I think, a valuable presentation for all of us. I think is very much appreciated. So I'm also not quite as brave as he. I'm not going to attempt any Tagalog today. I'll let him take care of that. And I'm also going to, well, I'd like to say a few things about the provincial nominee program and maybe build on that theme that Nick talked about, that this winning combination that we have, both the relationship that our programs, the Manitoba Provincial Nominee Program, the Federal Immigration Program have with your community and other communities in this province, and also the winning combination that I think Canada discovered in finding, I think, a unique and model way for provinces and the national government to work together to meet some common objectives and realize some common benefits. I will do this fairly quickly. I want to give us enough time for some questions and answers. I want to particularly give you enough time to take advantage of the fact that Nick is here. I'm sure you've got a lot of questions for him. But I left some of our brochures and a copy of the brief presentation I'm doing over on the side, if that's of interest. The presentation is the page with Manitoba's immigration and integration directions on the front. And the title, I guess, is important in some ways of saying a little bit about how Manitoba is looking at itself now. Whereas I think a number of the other provinces that Nick mentioned, BC, Saskatchewan, Alberta, are looking at their provincial programs as to how do we get these programs ramped up and delivering what our needs are. Manitoba is in the fortunate but also challenging position now to say, here we are about 10 years into the game, how are we doing and where do we go from here? And clearly, whereas we used to talk a lot about immigration directions, we're looking now as much at not only how we attract people here, how do we keep them here, how do we realize most effectively the benefits of the people who've chosen our province as the place they're going to live and work. How do we make sure that they're getting the most out of their settlement experience in Manitoba? So it's not just about immigration, it's also about integration. And I think those key elements speak to some of the success we've had in this province. Manitoba has, I guess, from early on recognized the importance of immigration as a long-term strategy for economic growth. Even before we had our settlement agreement with the Government of Canada in 1996, we were working actively with the Government of Canada to try and increase the profile, improve the success rate of Manitoba as an immigration destination of choice. And we formalized that arrangement in 1996 with a settlement agreement that allowed Manitoba to deliver settlement services directly to the newcomers coming here. And in 1998, we were among the first provinces to implement a provincial nominee program. The recognition, though, I guess, over the years of experience in this program has also been that, well, it's not just about numbers, it's also not just about filling little gaps here, finding a hole, we need 10 welders there, 14 engineers here, and 6 nurses over there. It's about a long-term strategy that grows communities. I think that's been a key piece of the immigration strategy for Manitoba for some time. It's not just about finding the right number of workers to plug into a particular vacancy somewhere. It's about giving communities, families, and employers the chance to think for the long term, grow for the long term. What is a sustainable growth model for Manitoba, and what is immigration's role in that? In 2003, the province came up with a strategy and put a number on that objective. Said we want to get 10,000 new immigrants every year, and we're going to do that from all immigration sources. That was the 10,000 number was largely because that was Manitoba's proportional share of immigration based on our population and the share of immigrants coming to Canada. In 2006, we were able to meet those targets. And government being government said, that's great, now can you do more? And came up with a new target in 2006 saying we're going to double it. We're going to It was, you know, the Tim Hortons strategy in some ways. We're going to get to 20,000 by another 10 years, and we're going to do it by increasing to 1,000 every year. And this, again, is recognizing the significant benefits that Manitoba is appreciating through immigration, the ability to grow our labor market, and the ability to grow our communities. So we look at the Manitoba Provincial Nominee Program, we look at our immigration program generally. We are at a position now trying to find both build on the successes that we've got, maintain the strengths that I believe the program has, partnerships for continuing to grow in the future. And these who are coming to Manitoba are coming still from all of the streams that that Nick briefly referenced in his presentation. They're coming through the family sponsorship stream. Manitoba continues to welcome refugees through the humanitarian stream. Temporary workers are coming to Manitoba, live-in caregivers, still some from the Federal Skilled Worker Program. But if you look at the graph and the numbers that are in that presentation handout on the side, it's quite clear that the Provincial Nominee Program is taking up a larger and larger percentage of our immigration numbers all the time. And that has some challenges for us. It has some good challenges for Manila and other visa offices that are asked to process our applications. And you heard Nick asking for more, hoping he will get more resources to not just deal with some of Manitoba's increased activity, but the other provinces who are coming on board as well. And we would happily support that, that increase that he's looking for. I think if we look at the nominee program specifically and its role in this increased immigration to Manitoba, there's a few features I think we can focus on generally today. I mean, if we look at the structure of the program, it's obviously meant to reflect close partnerships with families, communities, employers. We can point to the consistent and solid economic growth that the province has had in ensuring that. I've mentioned already the ensuring that immigrants stay here. And I mentioned already the role that the province has in delivering settlement services directly to newcomers. But I think a big piece of it is the involvement of communities such as yours. Immigrants, and I think much of the research reflects this, are certainly motivated by economic opportunity. They choose their destinations and will stay where those economic opportunities exist. But the primary factor that involved an immigrant choice of where a newcomer will go and where a newcomer will stay is the role of the family and the community in providing a welcoming and supportive environment. The success that we've had in this province, and we've already heard the numbers, the Philippines remains the strongest source country the largest source country for Manitoba in its provincial nominee program, and an increasingly important source country for Canada as well. That success, to many extent, is your success as well. Because those immigrants are choosing to come here. Manitoba is we don't have a guest worker program like some countries have done. We haven't traditionally gone that route. We're not really about bringing workers in, using them up and sending them on. We're looking at families to come here and grow with us for the long term. And that requires a community and an economy and hopefully an immigration program as such as ours to attract them. But it also requires the tools to keep people here. And so far, and I think this is a testament to the work that's been done in this community, it's been very successful. Our retention rates, questions that are often asked, particularly when people hear about numbers, is, yes, are they staying? Yes, they are staying, and they're staying more than they ever stayed before. I think one of the patterns that we're seeing is that the provincial nominee program, or more accurately, the active involvement by the province in immigration, whether it's through the nominee program, whether it's through our settlement services or other partnerships with communities and employers, is having a positive impact on keeping newcomers in this province. It always takes a little while to measure retention. The numbers are sometimes difficult to get over. We don't have numbers for 2005, we have them for 2003, 2004, and we're still talking about 80%. But I think just as important is to recognize the things that do make people stay. Retention is not a measure of so much the success, or just a measure of the success of a government program. It's a measure of the success of us as a province in being able to attract and keep newcomers here. And that points to, I think, some of the success we've had in our partnerships with communities and employers. People are staying here because they're finding economic opportunity. They're staying here because they've got a welcoming and supportive community environment. And the P&P, whatever directions that we take over the next few years, will continue to reflect those strong partnerships. The other part of it I mentioned was the settlement services, and I'll just briefly talk about some of those. Manitoba has historically, even before we had a nominee program, been actively involved in delivering of employment, settlement, and language training services to newcomers. These are not just in Winnipeg. There's over 100 adult English language and settlement programs throughout the province. And the federal government is, again, an active partner, that winning combination again, by increasing the settlement supports. Tripled from 4.4 million in 2002 to 14.4 in 2007-2008. Again, this recognition across the country. It's not just about bringing in the numbers, it's what we do to support our newcomers when they do arrive. A key thing I think that's really made a difference here, and I hope that some of you who've supported the arrival of your friends and relatives from overseas have taken advantage of this, I'm sure you have, is the development of an entry program approach to delivering settlement services. With the shift in numbers towards economic immigrants, towards provincial nominees, we recognized the need a couple of years ago that we needed to change the model of settlement service delivery. We needed something that was responsive to newcomers upon arrival. When people come here, they're ready to kind of realize those dreams. They've been waiting for a period of time while their applications are processed in Manitoba, and then again while their applications are processed overseas. They're ready to go when they get here. They want access to the labor market. They want to get their kids at school. They want things to start happening. So we needed a model that delivers settlement services a little more quickly. And the entry program is a first very positive step in that direction, with a continuous intake program that newcomers can take advantage of when they arrive. The day after they arrive, they can sign up for that. They can be streamed through that program to the services that they need most. For some, it's going to be language training. For some, it's going to be an employment agency that gets their resume up to date and recommends some other steps they could take if there's a credentials recognition challenge. Or in some, it will be other training and upgrading. But that entry program, currently located on the 4th floor of 259 Portage Avenue, with the phone number in the handout on the side, is an important ingredient to helping newcomers get a positive start when they get here right away. As families, as communities, you've contributed a lot, and continue to contribute a lot to bringing people here, supporting them once they're here. We want these newcomers also to take advantage of the settlement services that we're providing to help people get as quick access to the labor market as they can. I mentioned qualifications recognition, and this is one of the issues I think that, I know I was here a year ago, and I've been in other fora where we've talked together as a community and with other communities. It's an issue that's always there. It's something we always talk about. I do hope in 2, 3, 4, 5 years' time we're not talking about it so much more. The good thing now is the whole country is talking about it. It's seen as the issue in many ways. We know we are successful in attracting people here. In Manitoba, we know we've got a good mechanism through our program and the work of our partners and communities in keeping people here. Are we getting the best out of our newcomers? I don't think anybody agrees that we are at this point. Not until people are able to get efficient, quick access to employment at an appropriate skill level. So the challenge of qualifications recognition is a complex challenge. Doesn't have an easy solution. I think Manitoba has been taking some leadership in this area, as other provinces have. No one has the silver bullet solution. It's going to take everybody working together on it. The federal government has recently announced a clearinghouse to kind of help stream newcomers when they come into the province, connect them up with the provincial and other services that are there to help them. The province has tabled some legislation before the last election to kind of also get some more efficiency into the process. We've got a lot of work to do, but I think the positive signs are there that everybody is committed to engaging and solving this problem. So, in summary, I guess the provincial nominee program continues to build on its success, continues to want to work with communities such as yours, which have been an important an essential part of that success. We're going to continue to work with our federal colleagues around the world and in Manila. I certainly hope that we'll be able to pay Nick the courtesy of a visit to his new adopted home in the coming months to talk about how we can build on the success we've already had. Most of the immigrants from the Philippines are coming here on the basis of a family connection. Can we do more to increase that? Can we bring our employers into the process sooner? Take them with us to the Philippines, connect them up more effectively with the skills that they're looking for. Is there a way that we can take care of some of the challenges that the immigrants face after they arrive, connect with those potential immigrants before they arrive, whether it's connecting with an employer or a qualifications recognition process, and increase their success once they do get here? There's a number of things that we're going to be looking at. It's going to depend on us taking advantage of what have been the winning combinations, the winning partnerships. So far, our partnership with the communities such as yours, our partnerships with the federal government. But there's a lot of reason for optimism. You look around this room, you can see a lot of those reasons right here, and I'm looking forward to continuing to be involved with this. I'm going to end there and I guess give you folks an opportunity for some questions.